Hello everyone, and welcome to TberTalk. Today we're going on the road to visit one of the most romantic places on earth, the theater. I had a chance to work with the Manchester Community Theatre during their production of Beauty and the Beast, and the rest is history. They'll be doing 2 shows this season, those being Jesus Christ Superstar and Noise Is Off. Let's take a look. Hey Elliot, what's happening?
Not too much, how about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. This is Elliot Owens, the co-director here for Jesus Christ Superstar.
So, you guys want to come inside and see what we have?
I'd be happy to.
All right.
Let's take a look.
No.
Come
broken man cluttering up my hallway? Who is this unfortunate?
Someone Christ, King of the Jews.
Ah, so this is Jesus Christ. I am really quite surprised. You look so small, not a king at all. We all know that you are news, but are you king? King of the Jews!
That's what you say.
And what do you mean by that? That is not an answer. You're deep in trouble, friend. Someone Christ, King of the Jews. How can someone in your state be so cool about his fate? An amazing thing, this silent king. Since you come from Galilee, then you need not come to me. You're Herod's race. He's Herod's case. to Simon Zealot now, please.
Hello everyone, I'm here with the cast of Manchester Community Theatre's production of Noises Off. I wanted to take a minute to ask them about their process. Okay, so I've gotten the chance to watch all of you in the show. I wanted to ask you about your motivations. What drives you in your characters?
Well, one of the challenges in this show is that we play multiple parts, most of us. We play an actor within Noises Off, and then we also play characters within the internal play Noises On. So I have three very distinct characters. The first one, Freddie, who is the main character, as an actor, is a very, not timid, but almost mousy guy. He's very apologetic. He can't stand violence, and he sees violence or any type of confrontation, he gets a nosebleed and causes commotion, constantly apologizing. But on stage, he plays a very strong actor, so it was a matter of coming up with two distinct voices and different mannerisms when I do both. And then there's a third character, an Arab sheik, who comes out very quickly, which was relatively easy, considering that I'm standing there in a get-up with my pants at my ankles.
Okay, so the one thing that strikes me about this show is that you all had to memorize so many lines. What's the process like this? What do you do to help you?
So we have a lot of repetitions at rehearsal, which is really helpful. And I made a practice CD. So what I did was I read everybody else's characters in the play, their lines, and then put a blank space where my line was. And I go over it on my way back and forth to rehearsal and to work. And so if you're at a stoplight and you see someone talking to themselves, that's me learning lines.
I think for me, it was kind of a combination of what Sam said about the repetitions, because we've been able to run the show off book for about 2 or 3 weeks now. And then for me, since I play Gary and Roger, I just went on YouTube and I kind of went over lots of different people playing the role. I've seen the Broadway version a little bit, the old library version, the movie version with John Ritter. And because each person brings their own something to the part, nobody's going to do it the same. And so I kind of just based who I want Gary or Roger to be off of, I kind of took a little bit from everybody.
Cool. So I wanted to ask all of you, what do you find helpful in having a director? In terms of artistic direction, does it help motivate you to reach new heights in terms of your character? Because I know you already all have an idea of who your character is, right?
I think in terms of the artistic direction, this show is one that can get off the track very easily. And within the show, it does get off the track. But with a lot of the lines, especially some of mine, where I call Mrs. Clackett everything under the sun that ends in the word "et," I also tend to get off track a lot easier. And so having Alan is just helpful in the fact that he can chime in and say, you're getting too off track, or what's your motivation if you kind of forget and you are looking like you don't know what you're doing. And so I think having Alan with the character development that we've had has produced what we've been able to accomplish so far.
We've had the term character development mentioned several times, and just to explain what that is, it's having each individual determine the backstory of their character to understand where they came from, who their family might have been. And frequently, if you're not playing a real character, you're playing somebody
that you have to make up. So you create a backstory for that individual, and that helps you when you're on stage remember your lines, first of all, and if you should drop a line or forget where you are, if you are in that character, you'll be able to go ahead and play the role, and one of your fellow actors will help pick that up. So we do spend a lot of time on character development, who the character is, what their motivation is, and how they would play out a particular scene. I think the point made earlier that this show, which is a farce, is very different than many acting gigs that people have had a chance to do. It's not like the typical musical, it's not like the typical straight show, because it's very funny and everything depends upon the timing that's occurring. This show has been called the funniest show of our current generation, and in order for it to be funny and to come off right, the timing of delivery of lines, of going in and out of doors, and of presenting the sardines, which are frequently seen in this show. They say the show is all about doors and sardines. The timing is really critical.
So Andrew, I got a chance to watch you and you seem to have the comedy bug. What do you think the secret is behind good comedy? What's funny?
I mean, a lot of people will tell you, what their own opinion is of the secret of comedy. I think, especially in terms of this show, yes, it's a farce, but we play off as if we're not aware that it's a farce. It kind of goes back to the character development question that, these characters are just living their lives, and it's farcical in the fact that it's something that could legitimately happen, because life is funny in and of its own right. So these circumstances that are happening to these characters are all because of their own decisions, their own relationships, and to an audience member, especially anyone who's done theater, especially in Act 2 with the backstage stuff, can relate to all the shenanigans that are happening in this show. So I think that's sort of the secret to it being funny, is that there is some realism to it, to an extent.
Do you like the mafia movies? Is that your thing, mob movies?
I've seen a few.
Seen a few, okay. So you always notice that the actors in those movies are great at swearing, am I right? They're great. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, all of them. Mm-hmm. They're great at swearing. And some people, it doesn't even sound good when they swear. It sounds like they shouldn't be swearing. But you seem to have talent in this. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm a father. I have 3 kids, so swearing is not something I do on a daily basis, especially at home. I think in terms of a character, especially a character like this, Lloyd is not a happy person. He is not a kind person by any means. He is somebody who essentially will use others around him to make himself look good, and he will talk down to anyone he deems less intelligent than himself. So a lot of his the coarse language that he uses in and throughout the show is as cutting as it is because it's expressing his frustration. So my goal with that was to just play it as naturally as possible and put myself in the mindset of a very frustrated person.
So the most important thing when acting is to have fun. Now I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite part of this production? Let's start at the end.
So I love small cast musicals where everybody in the cast and crew has got their moment and everyone's has an important part, and it's just a great time, especially when it's a comedy.
For me, I have to say the best thing about this particular production has been the chemistry between the cast members. I think we all get along beautifully. It's been so much fun, and even we're in the middle of a regular conversation, lines from the play sort of fly in there and everyone just sort of bonds together, and it's been really lovely.
I think for me, as Laura said, it's a lot about the team cohesion. This is actually my first show with the community players, and this show in particular I see as a marathon, and I don't mean to sound touchy, but I'm very happy that this is the cast that I get to run this marathon with.
Yeah, along the same lines, cast is the biggest thing. Really, really good group of people. Also my first show with the Manchester community players, and it really is timely working with a great group of people who just mesh well together.
Manchester Community Theater Players has as its mission both an opportunity for anyone to be on the stage who has an interest in doing that without any cost to them, and also education. So from my standpoint, doing a show that I've always wanted to do, Noises Off, and having an opportunity to help people develop themselves as better actors or performers is really the joy of doing this type of work.
So I mean, definitely, as everyone else has said, this has been a really amazing cast to work with. I think my favorite part has been that I'm in sort of this unusual position of playing the stage manager, or playing the assistant stage manager, and actually being the stage manager for the show. I'm in front of the set, I'm behind the set, and it's been a really neat experience to sort of play the thing that I'm actually doing, except hopefully smoother than it goes in the play.
So one of the things I found most interesting, because this is the first straight play I've ever directed, is watching the development of the timing. So as the cast is learning to interact with each other on stage, their timing is improving with every run, and it just gets funnier and funnier as they go.
I too think this has been a wonderful cast and a lot of fun to be with. I'm not sure what my favorite thing is yet. I know what my least favorite thing is, and that's once again why the oldest person of the cast has to drop his pants is beyond me. But hey, stay tuned, I don't get my knickers in a twist.
I just really love this show, and so it's been a fun thing to be a part of. I've always wanted to do this play.
So I saw this show years ago and knew that I really wanted to do it sometime in my life. Even if I was playing Celestin the Burglar or a door, I would have just really wanted to do this show. So when it came up in Manchester, I jumped at the opportunity. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Aside from working with a spectacular cast, my favorite thing about this play in particular compared to like others is the development in how it runs. Because if you look back on week 1 and where we are now with the chaos that ensues in Act 2 particularly, just how far it comes is really remarkable and a lot of fun to see.
This has been another edition of TberTalk. I took you back, brought you forward, and left you right where you were, with stories I love, and hopefully you did too. I'm your host, Zakaria Tber, and don't forget to check out Manchester Community Theatre's production of Jesus Christ Superstar, located at 698 Beach Street in Manchester, playing on May 11th through the 20th, and Noises Off, playing April 6th through the 15th. For more information, check out www.manchestercommunitytheatre.com.